Folks, welcome back. It is Wednesday night, and that means it's time for What's TrainWreck Watching. And if unless you've been hiding under a pit on the sands of Tatooine, you know that we have been talking Book of Boba Fett here on What's TrainWreck Watching. Of course, as always, sponsored by Picasso's Pizza. It's always pizza night as far as Picasso's is concerned. Order your Picasso's now, and definitely order it if you're looking to get it in time for the Bills AFC Championship matchup on Sunday. But I digress, and let's get our experts in here. Of course, we got the Micah man, Jake Micah. Micah, welcome.
Hey, how's it going? Great episode today. Excited to break it down with the boys.
And of course, as always, Joe Casale, Mr. Hollywood, Casale Files.
Whatever, take your pick. No, today, come on. It's just every Wednesday has been nothing but a treat for a while now. And obviously to step in a galaxy far, far away. I mean, come on, there's nothing more exciting than this. And it's great to be back talking with you fellas, of course, about our beloved Boba Fett for sure. Great episode today.
Our beloved Boba Fett dropping another amazing episode. Chapter 4, The Gathering Storm. Damn you, intern, you got the typo. But I'll fire it around the horn, guys. Casale first, what was your biggest takeaway from this Chapter 4 Book of Boba Fett?
You know, it's funny. This show has been kind of, a roller coaster of sorts. But what I mean is just kind of like, it's been showing a lot of post Return of the Jedi and post Sarlacc pit, kind of like what we've seen from when we caught up with Boba Fett at the end of Mandalorian, and then obviously when he crawled out of that Sarlacc pit at the end of Return of the Jedi. So it's been interesting to see their kind of progression throughout now 4 episodes. But I think this one was a little bit more straightforward, kind of like a little action adventure of sorts with him getting his beloved ship all the way back from the 80s. So it was a lot of fun this episode for sure. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I feel like this was the most fan service-ish, I guess, episode. Not even saying that in a bad way. Like it was really enjoyable for that reason, but definitely they went heavy on that part there. My biggest takeaway is I think I have to put to rest my Fennec Shan theory. I think I'm still keeping an eye out. Like I'm still like 15% keeping an eye on her. Like I don't know, they kind of overselling it, but it was kind of cool to see like how their relationship has evolved a little bit, and just see Boba. I mean, when we first knew Boba, you just knew him as a bounty hunter and obviously whatever else, but he's a man of like, he's honorable, like he wants respect, he's loyal, like all these different kind of things that we didn't really know about the character and definitely wouldn't have assumed after you met his father Jango Fett in episode 2. So I think that the character development of Boba throughout this whole thing has been a real treat to see, and just kind of them get to explore the different, like what makes him tick, what makes him go, especially going into Mandalorian and everything else. This was a great episode. This was a really rewarding episode, I feel like.
Yeah, longest episode of the season, I believe, so it definitely knocked it out of the park as far as packing that 48 minutes. So let's get underway. We start off, so we're getting the pre-Mando storyline, and actually it's post-Mando at this point. He's been with the Tusken Raiders for years. He finds Fennec Shan. There was actually a little Mando jingle, or what do you call it? The Mando bass theme, the score or whatever. When you saw that in the sky, so that was electrifying. What did you guys think of this sequence? I mean, after last week, we saw a little glossy color and car chases that everybody was all upset about. This week, it was back to the nitty gritty in Mos Eisley.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It kind of felt like a little paint by numbers of like, let's see how they met at first. But, it was very nice to see. I think what the show has also done so well is building upon, their relationship, Boba and Fennec Shan, and the chemistry between Tamara Morrison and Ming-Na Wen has been very, very great throughout these episodes. So, obviously it was, we knew they met each other. We knew what happened in between, a couple episodes of Mandalorian when Din Djarin was with Fennec Shan, and then they lost touch because just something happened, and she got left behind. And then when we met up with Boba, Fennec was already with her, in Mandalorian. So it was kind of cool to see, them kind of intersecting the scenes, as far as the storytelling goes, that, it's a Star Wars world. And I think, it's funny. That's what kind of Marvel has always done with us, kind of intersect scenes in between films. So, the long-term fans that have been through this series, not even just, the original trilogy, but just watching all the way watching Mando all the way through, you kind of need to know what the hell's going on. So I thought that was kind of cool just to see, how they met and whatnot. And right off the bat, just them kind of bickering at each other to kind of figure out really what kind of role they played. Cause this is a new Boba Fett that we see, ever since the original trilogy. I think, they kind of, feed off each other to kind of really understand what their true purpose is in this galaxy, for sure.
Shout out How I Met Your Father, just dropped yesterday. I don't know if you guys watched the first episode.
I'm a huge Hilary Duff guy, so I got to check it out.
Yeah, I'm a huge How I Met Your Mother fan, so I got to check it out one of these days.
I'm both those things. I watched part of it. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I watched part of it, like 10, 15 minutes, my brother yesterday, and I'm sold. I'm going to lock in.
Okay, so good.
That's my aside here. But it was everything you said, Casali, like I couldn't put it in a better way. Fennec, it was something. I think that's kind of what I've been getting around to bringing her up, is that we really needed some kind of tether to this character. Like we saw her obviously in Mandalorian, we've seen her by Boba's side, but we needed some motivation. We needed something to grasp onto with her. And this episode was like, okay, I got you, and wholeheartedly. And she's kind of very similar to what I was mentioning before about Boba, very loyal. She's definitely honorable. Definitely very skilled at killing people, and so they just get along. They're like peanut butter and jelly, and they kind of just fit together perfectly. And I think what it really did at the beginning, like right away, it showed off the chemistry. It's definitely an awkward chemistry, but they're not, it's not like they're people persons by any stretch of the imagination. So I thought it was a good introduction.
They're both a little rough around the edges. By the way, I don't think your Fennec betrayal storyline is completely written off. In fact, I think the fact that she got even with him and doesn't owe him anything opens it up for like 2 to 3. But it's 2 to 3 seasons down the way for sure. So obviously we see them bonding, and they plan the Slave One heist, as a way for her to kind of make it up to him, the debt to get the ship back and everything. What'd you guys think of this scene with storming Jabba's palace through the sewer? Was it?
I loved it. Kind of, this is, a straight up heist.
By the way, I know they're not calling it Slave One anymore. I know they came up with some new name for the ship, but it's always Slave One to me.
It's always Slave One. I mean, but even in Wikipedia right now, it's called Slave One. So I think that's kind of sticking. But I know, to me, it always felt like, when I was growing up, always, obviously being obsessed with Star Wars and grabbing anything I could. I had the chance to play the old Bounty Hunter video game on PlayStation 2, TBT. But, so it kind of reminded me of that, like a straight up like video, like I don't want to say straight up like video game level, because there was a lot more stakes to this and what they were trying to accomplish. But it kind of reminded me of that, of just like, here's the level, here's the guys we have to go through and stuff. And she had like a little cool I don't even want to say it was like one of the radar sensors from like the original trilogy, but like a little, like a smaller pocket size, where she was able to tell like who was in the temple, how many guys and how many they were up against. So it was, right off the bat, it kind of seemed like, okay, this is what we're going to get this week, like a nice little adventure side story, like I said before. So it was a lot of fun, straight up. And obviously, that's all we were wondering is like, okay, how did he get Slave One back? And where did it go after, all this time? Because we didn't really, like, obviously we knew the ship, and the ship was heavily featured in Empire Strikes Back, and then the prequels. It was his father's ship, so it's been it's a titan within the Star Wars legacy. So that's all I was thinking the whole time. Is like, okay, where's the ship? Like, we gotta, the ship is awesome with the seismic charges and everything. So I was already grinning like, okay, this is the episode. This is what we're gonna get. So I was already hooked from the start.
Man, that security, Bib Fortuna was just lacking on that security because that team they were no match, match at all. I think I had when I was younger, I had like probably 3 foot size of Slave One, like toy. Had a nice little Jango Fett. That was definitely a favorite there. And so it was just great to see it back on the screen. Great to see Boba in the cockpit there once he's getting out. But yeah, the security there, I'm just a little suspect there by Bib. You could see why it was so easy to take him down and get through there. But I mean, maybe it's just how efficient and how they're just trying to show how well these two work in tandem, because really it was like that was their first time together, and they knew each other's moves, finished each other's sentences, all that other stuff. So it was a dope scene. Love a good heist scene. I mean, I was talking about car chase scenes, heist scenes, right up there, like right below car chase scenes. You put heist scenes, I think.
Especially, I mean, you throw a spaceship in a palace, you got a pretty good heist scene.
Bumps it up a little bit, yeah.
They're bumping it up. I mean, I think you guys are really no-selling the Grievous bot here, though. You didn't pop for Grievous bot?
Oh, no. Well, that was just great, too, because that was, it was, I mean, I feel like that was the same robot from Return of the Jedi that saw C-3PO and R2-D2.
Someone said it was the torture bot. It was the torture bot.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same voice and everything. So, I mean, once seeing that, that was just so much nostalgia right there from him talking to C-3PO the first time in Jedi. So I mean, obviously that's what we come to, and not in a bad way, obviously, but like, that's what the Star Wars world is, all these characters and droids and everything, and how they really put life into something, all that stuff with droids and all that stuff. So the cast and characters are always so great within Star Wars and the world, what Lucas did all that time ago.
Absolutely. And then of course, so they get Slave One. Fennec hits the what would you call that? That was a clutch. Fennec clutched it, right, Jake?
Oh yeah, easily.
Big time clutch. The ramp is going up. She hits the shot. And then we get, Boba Fett going off into the distance. And I'm thinking, he's going to go and he's going to, take some time to be himself. He's going to, think about how he wants to rule. He's going to think about his comeback tour. No. It was instantly Boba Fett Revenge Tour 2022. So we got the Cinto speeder gang or whatever going along. And just an incredible shot as Slave One kind of fades into the background. And just when you see Slave One, you knew it was on. And it was just destruction. And there was nothing they can do. The money line was instantly like minus $1 million. Boba made quick work. What do you think? Pretty amazingly shot, Casale, right? Because you're someone who appreciates that technique.
Absolutely. I mean, that whole sequence as well, it reminded me, it had so much feelings of A New Hope when they were getting to the Falcon and escaping the Death Star and all that. Even all the way back when they were going to the Falcon and Tatooine and all that stuff. It had so much of A New Hope vibes all the way through. That was just so great. But I mean, again, that's because we all know what Slave One can do, and the charge beneath how big that ship is and stuff. So it was definitely had all those feelings in there, and it showed, because that's what it's a big demeaning ship, and it was great.
Yeah, this was, I mean, the whole show was worth this whole moment going, everything. Boba on his Drizzy 2016 looking like that. We could go like the whole pre-Mando storyline. Obviously, we didn't know where it was going to go, and now we're seeing how important it truly was to what they were trying to tell with this story. But man, it could have been the whole show. Like this, the way they could have done this, the way that what we've seen so far from it, it's been so much fun. It's been like the bright spots of this show to me. And this whole sequence was definitely my favorite, I think, so far of this entire show.
Everybody knows Jawas are motherfuckers. but this is the first time because you mentioned Drizzy on his 2016. Boba goes back to back. He's like, so he takes out the speeder gang, and then he's going to the Sarlacc because he wants his armor back. And I'm thinking, what is going on? What? Why is he at the Sarlacc? And he thinks that his armor is in the Sarlacc. What a situation! I mean, trying to go into the Sarlacc, like it's like acidic and stuff. I'm so puzzled. I'm like wondering, like I'm wondering if maybe they had a scene where Boba was showing that he was more desperate for his armor or something. What were you guys thinking when Boba literally was like hovering? Like it was like nightmare fuel.
I was always under the impression that he knew that his armor was being, stolen.
That's the thing. I think these Jawa motherfuckers might get away from it now.
Yeah,
he doesn't remember.
Because obviously seeing that scene, we know that, Cobb Vanth has, gotten it from the Jawas and he's wearing it now. And that's how Boba gets it back from Mando stealing it and whatnot. But yeah, I was always under the impression that he knew that it wasn't there, that it was still on his body, or unless he was just like going like heavily, like in and out, like knocked out to the point where he just forgot. Obviously he went through a lot and, such a traumatic experience, falling into the Sarlacc pit to then crawling out. So I guess maybe he wasn't paying attention, but you could, I don't know, like with Bastard armor, like you could tell the difference. That's why I was a little confused how that was kind of written out. But I guess going back to the Sarlacc and the way that it was shot, where it was kind of peering down and stuff, I thought, was
there like
that
a
alone,
trippy scene where like you were seeing the inside of its mouth, and then all of a sudden it was like you were like shot all the way down. It was like the scene when Godzilla's looking down through the earth in King Kong. Like that's how deep.
Well, all right, that's not a little ridiculous.
All we were missing was a Godzilla laugh. All we were missing was a Godzilla laugh for this episode. But
the Sarlacc was laughing in his head, I guess.
Great scene. You know what scene it actually reminded me of? Lost World Jurassic Park, when she fell on the glass. I thought the glass was going to start to like crack.
Yes.
I was having like something like that. I was like, oh my gosh, I thought that was going to happen. But no, it didn't. She hit the button. Boba doesn't like it when you push your button, so we get the seismic charge. It's the best noise in Star Wars. In a galaxy with the best noises all over, it's amazing.
Yeah. And he was a little like, even that, like she literally saved the day, and then he was like, "Don't touch my buttons."
That was Star Wars humor when someone saves the day and you find a way to get like a little pissy at them.
Oh
classic. Classic for sure. Well, hey, so it took care. What would you guys think of that scene though? Amazing. Not 11 out of 10 or 12.
Yeah. 12, 13, all of it. It did give me some horror vibes though. I had a nice little jump scare with the Sarlacc there. Like I was
right.
I was a little scared. I don't like gross monsters. Like I'm so like as a person who watches all this ridiculous sci-fi stuff, I still get creeped out at any gross looking monster at any time. And the Sarlacc did not disappoint in that regard at all, man. He was scary.
Yeah, during my watch along, you just knew something was going to happen. It was a straight horror movie. The way he was like slowly going in there. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Things weren't happening slowly in the post Mando storyline though.
Oh my god.
We got the Sanctuary, Boba Fett showing up. We got a Trandoshan who just clearly was not gambling at the right table. I liked how they did this scene though, before I cue it up for you guys, that like Kursan was like kind of hammered. Like, like not like that he just goes around like committing like hate crimes against Trandoshans. Like he was hammered, but then he also got offered a free tab and was like, nah, I'm good on the free tab. An incredible situation. I wrote down here in my notes, Black Kursan ain't on no Tony Soprano bullshit. He doesn't care about getting his tab paid for.
Well, I mean, we've learned this since the beginning. Never underestimate a Wookiee. Nope. I mean, that's literally the word of advice right there. So, I mean, I love that this guy keeps popping up. I mean, he's, what a character to have and kind of see, what's going to happen with him throughout the show. Cause he's just complete badass. I mean, again, obviously we all love our Chewie, but having this guy around is really just kind of menacing and again, just the kind of vibes he's gotten where he just, he doesn't care. Like he's just like all out, like, just like get out of my way. Again, kind of like Boba Fett vibes, So it's they're really a match made in hell right there.
Man, it was so much fun to watch like what that's what I was trying to figure pieces together the whole time. Like, did I miss something? Like, did they like say something to him? Did something get triggered? It's like, nah, he was just drunk and didn't like them playing that game. They were having too much fun, and didn't like that game going on over there. It was awesome scene to see. I think right before this, sorry if I'm jumping around here a little bit, but wasn't right before this the scene where Boba came out of the back to tank?
Yes.
Too as well.
Sorry, big detail.
So I did want to touch on that because as we were talking about the Sarlacc and him remembering everything and wondering how you guys think or how you guys feel about is it going to be that he was like gaining his memories back in the back to tank and that's kind of how we've been coming around and he's remembering everything? I'm kind of unclear on how much he has actually remembered up to this point, if that's been helping him. Don't know what kind of powers the back to tank does for CTE or anything like that.
I can see that, especially because that's the way the show's been kind of structured.
Yeah.
As far as, like we see it as flashbacks, but maybe he does too, where all of a sudden he's remembering where he comes from.
Think of it as like, did you ever play Knights of the Old Republic or those old games or ever hear about those games? So that one of the basis of and this is potentially the Rian Johnson trilogy, I'm hoping, because I love those games and everything. But the basis of it is your main character not remember what has happened before in his past life and is knocked out, and you're getting his flashbacks as these visions like in real time as they're kind of telling it too. So it kind of reminded me directly of how they told that story in that. And obviously we've seen like this show and Mandalorian has taken a lot of different aspects of the storytelling in the Star Wars universe and kind of turned them around, flipped them on their head, used them in different ways. Just interested to see like if there's going to be more fallout with that coming from Bo. Maybe, I don't know. But anyways, coming to Chrysanthemum, I think this is our comic panel coming to life. I hope that it comes up right on the screen next time. You couldn't ask for somebody else better walking next to you into a bar, into any fight. I mean, apparently he's got the biggest, this guy should just be flexing on Instagram like all the time, just all the titles and stuff that he's won and everything. So that's an accomplished Wookiee right there. I'd take him on my team any day.
Oh, for sure.
Seriously. And then it comes down to it. So he's obviously trying to add him to the team. He's delegating at the table. And we get a little comic Star Wars action. It's basically a cinematic effect. Yeah. Someone threatens Boba Fett. And somehow the baby Rancor understands that Boba's being threatened and reaches his claws all the way up.
Yes.
Pretty hysterical, honestly. But it shows that the Rancor obviously is going to play a big role. Do we have any guesses on this potential name? I know they had one in Bad Batch, the show about the clones. I think it was named like Moochie or something, but I don't think this is the same one. Any guesses on a name?
Who they're trying to look for?
Any guesses on the Rancor name?
Oh, the Rancor name. I don't know.
Sally.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going with. Sally.
There
he is. Look at that. That's what I need right there. Just give me that shot exactly, and I'll be.
And wasn't the eye wound from a battle with Kenobi?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I heard
I do
too.
believe
That's
so.
what I heard on the street. So very excited about that. And gents, so obviously we had Chrysanthemum to the team. We got the Rancor. We're going down the stretch here in what's TrainWreck. Oh wait, why didn't I unshare the screen? But then we got it. So we're talking about, going to war eventually. It's going to be, the Pikes against Boba for now. Again, there could be some Crimson Dawn on the outset. There could be some other factors. They're doing a really good job of world building, doing a really good job of using outside factors and everything. But the biggest thing for me, when you watch Marvel and when you watch Star Wars, it's almost these two properties exclusively. The thematics, the sounds can mean anything. They can be so important. So when you hear Fennec Shand talking about adding muscle and you hear that Mando theme song.
Yes.
How pumped are you boys?
Oh, yeah. That was straight up like, okay, that's something I didn't expect. or not even just didn't expect, just, it's just so great because obviously, Mando has been this new character that we've grown to love within the past 2 seasons, and it kind of makes sense with especially their kind of relationship. So to have, and we're not going to get a Mando season 3 until the end of the year. I think they just started filming it now. So to have Din Djarin show up, I think would be excellent. Absolutely, all the way through. I mean, that's how we kind of came with Marvel.
Oops! Don't look at my Black Chrysanthemum searches.
But no, I mean, that's kind of like what we came to know with Marvel, is they love to play with their toys that they introduce and crossovers and everything like that. I mean, not to get off topic, but even like what you were saying, Jake, about the Chris Stanton and giving a scar to Obi-Wan. I mean, that could be on the table too for whenever we get that series.
That's 1,000% on the table. Not even
absolutely. Because if they just, like I said, interweave with all these things and the shows and stuff like that, their own cinematic universe, even though that's what Star Wars has been since 1977. But yes, I mean, come on, I would be so happy for Din Djarin to show up and Mando back, and that I've been missing me some Mando. This show has been great, but what they've been doing with Mandalorian has just been so great. So I mean, let's do it. Go all in.
Yeah, sign me up. Like you said, the Marvelification, that's a word I haven't ever tried to say before, of just the Disney Plus and the Star Wars universe that they're obviously going for with all the announced shows and everything else. I wasn't even thinking about the possibility. I mean, the possibilities have it. We've talked about it and theorized about who might be showing up, potential people. The Crimson Dawn you mentioned. I think we had a slight Maul mention earlier in the season and everything, but to have Mando come in, if that's what's going to happen, and it's going to be super rewarding in it. And for people, like I know I've talked to a lot of people that have just checked out Disney Plus exclusively for Mandalorian and maybe haven't checked out Book of Boba Fett yet for whatever reason. And I feel like those Mandalorian fans, like the second they see Mando's in this, it's a set, like it's a lock for them. And that's what's done so well. Like you get to see it's the comic book effect. I mean, that's what comics got so great at, is you got to see all your other characters together. Marvel took that 100 steps further, and now entering the Star Wars universe. I mean, sign me up. Like this is what we've been waiting for with these shows, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
Give me Boba, Mando, and Black Chrysanthemum on a mission to the Outer Rim. Let's freaking go.
That'd be amazing.
That would be amazing. No,
to get Baby Yoda back.
It would be great poetry. Obviously Boba ran into Mando when he was on a mission and, helped him out and helped him accomplish what he wants. Would be great poetry for, Mando to come now and help Boba in his time of need.
Especially, too, because he learned a lot within, because the last time we saw him was when Luke came and got Grogu, and took him to kind of, train him. And, our Mando has grown so much from the very beginning of that show, especially learning from, our favorite little guy. So, he would definitely come on, he would be there in a heartbeat. I feel like, to kind of, really stand tall. And this might be, who knows as far as timeline wise, if maybe it could be, maybe I wouldn't even say a lot in the future, because this is kind of taking place right after where we left off. But, again, some time could have passed where we see maybe a more grizzled Mando or whatnot. I think that's just what's kind of cool about that idea, that very idea.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what Mando's what he's been up to. And
I need me some otherwise. Season 3.
I mean, so that whatever this is gonna be, I mean, sign me up. I'm good for whatever interaction is gonna be coming up with Mando. I think it's going to be interesting to see kind of how he is as a supporting character. We've only ever followed him around and really known everything really. And I mean, think of how we viewed the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian. We didn't see the dude's face until literally the end of the 2nd season. So we were so in tune with if you're following that show, you are so in tune with the characters like what he's about, his desires, his motivations, everything with Mando, because you just have to, like, he did such a good job, but you really have to buy into it to know what's going on. It's going to be so rewarding to just have that guy along for the ride rather than, you know, being the focus of the whole thing.
Seriously, what an episode. Great episode. Chapter of Boba Fett. We got 3 episodes left after this, so it's kind of 7 total.
Episodes, so this is like the halfway point, kind of.
Can't wait for Peacemaker tomorrow.
Ooh,
what a strong start they got off to.
Yes.
So I know we did a reaction video yesterday. We might do that again. Might do maybe like a quick episode. I think we'll see how we're feeling tomorrow, John's right, with these double dips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I just, oh, man. I cannot wait.
Really good. You know it's good when my dad just texts me and he goes, "Cena's amazing in this." He never texts me about anybody being amazing in anything.
Those 3 episodes. Oh my God, I loved every second of
really
it.
Good,
oh
really
my
good.
God. I mean, you know, and it's funny. Like I'm a huge fan of the Suicide Squad and what James Gunn did and stuff. And, you know, as much as it also feels like a sequel to that, but just, you know, Cena all the way. Like oh my God, I can't get over. I can't get enough. That show is I did not see that coming. Like I thought, okay, Peacemaker, well, you know, let's do it. Like, you know, sure, why not? And then what they did and the humor and all that stuff, like, come on, I'm all in. Like that is so good.
John Cena is an American treasure. That's what people need to learn. This is great. I would be remiss though before we go here to ask you guys how you felt about the Moon Knight trailer that came out 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
If you've seen the Moon Knight trailer,
March 30th, right? That's when that's coming out. Our next debut in the MCU.
Yep.
I liked it. I thought it was cool. You know, it's great too because I always love, you know, Marvel and you know, the similar stuff and like No Way Home and all that stuff, the heroes that we come to love. But I love me some new stuff and new heroes and I mean, Moon Knight, I have no idea. Like, I don't really know anything about it. And I mean, you know, obviously Oscar Isaac, you know, I've grown, you know, like I've, you know, watched him obviously because, you know, the Star Wars trilogy and he's been in little things here and there too that he's been, you know, he's such a really good, you know, actor. So I'm all in. Like that's, you know, that was so exciting.
It's gonna be as I come from a family of, I mean, I feel like we say this about every character, but we are very big Moon Knight supporters. He's a very, I mean, amazing character. I don't know if you guys know the backstory at all, but he's got,
I'm going in blind. I really have no idea.
He's a Batman-esque character, like super rich, a lot of resources, doesn't really have a lot of powers, martial art, whatever. He's got split personality disorder, though. He's got 3 distinct different personalities.
Okay.
And one of them is actually this Egyptian moon god that obviously that's where Moon Knight comes from. Whole bunch of lore behind that and everything that I'm sure they're going to dive into. But it's a really interesting take on, like, basically Batman, but with more severe mental disabilities and things that he has to work through and bipolar disorder. And so it's a really great attention that Marvel is bringing. Obviously they had so much diversity and everything else in Eternals that they were really good with showing us, you know, with the deaf superhero and everything. And so this is a different foray into a superhero who has mental health issues and everything. That's basically been the hallmark of the character since he's been around. But Mark Spector is a treat, and when he's on his shit, like he's been an Avenger, he's been an Avengers villain, so like he's got some pizzazz to him. So it's gonna be fun. Excited. I think you guys will really enjoy it. Yeah, I'm
excited. You know, in Oscar Isaac's second round of doing a superhero. I mean, you know, he did an interesting job in Apocalypse, X-Men Apocalypse, but you know, I think this is where he's really gonna shine.
He's gonna thrive. He's gonna thrive.
I'm excited.
I can't even talk about those last 4 like X-Men movies. What disasters all of those were.
This is great.
Yeah, that's a good. I'll die on that.
Future Past was like the last one. That's the one where that's the one where he's sleeping and they're like 40 years in the past, right? And while the apocalypse is happening, I get it. Well, that was the last one.
Yeah,
that was like serviceable.
Yeah, Apocalypse.
Like then they did 3 more that were all just like progressively like, what the fuck? Why do I care about any of this? All right, folks, but we are glad that you care about this here on What's TrainWreck Watching. Make sure you're following along SoundCloud, Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, everything. We love it. Apple Podcasts, thank you for following for our crew. We got Casali Files, Mr. Hollywood Joe Casali. We got the Micah Man, Jake Mike, and of course, me, Maniac. Thanks for following along here at What's TrainWreck Watching, where it's not about next week's plans. It's not about next week's schedule. It's about next week's